Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with 6 3-minute rounds of boxing in the featherweight division. Introducing to you firstly, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the black, yellow and white coloured shorts. At the weight he scaled, 8 stone, 10 pounds, 4 ounces. He hails from his nation's capital, Tbilisi, Georgia, Khvicha Gigolashvili. And opposing him, boxing out of the red corner, wearing the red coloured shorts trimmed with black and gold. At the weight he also scaled, 8 stone, 10 pounds, 4 ounces. His outstanding ring record this evening thus far stands at 13 contests, 11 wins. 3 of those wins coming by way of knockout, just a single defeat and a draw. Hailing from the Jamie Moore camp via the superb city of Salford, Marc, live wire Leach. Timekeeper at the bell is Peter Humphrey, referee in charge of the action. Manchester's Darren Sargentson, 6 3-minute rounds.
Fellas, you both know the rules. Keep it clean. Don't nothing low. Watch your head. When I say break, take a step. Most importantly, defend yourself at all times. Have a good one, lads.
Here we go then. Interesting to see how Marc settles into this one.
Yes, as we say, he had the disappointment of the title fight falling through, but he doesn't want to let anything cloud his judgment. He wants to come out and just box with the same discipline that you'd expect he would have shown if he would have been fighting for the title tonight.
Yeah, and it goes one of two ways, doesn't it? He'll either be frustrated and you'll see it in his performance, or you'll see the best Marc Leach that we've seen so far in his career.
And it'll do him well to take the first minute to have a look at his opponent, feel him out a little bit, find out what he's got about him. Just having a quick look at the opponent, his stance seems fairly stable. We'll see what his movement's like, and sometimes you can tell someone knows what they're doing just by the first early indications.
Yeah, he certainly looks sharp in there, Marc, as you'd expect, building up to a title fight like he was doing.
And that can still come for him. He's still a young guy. He lost his pro debut, came back from that. He's had a draw in his record as well. That maybe should have been a win. So he's had a range of experiences so far, Leach.
Yeah, and he's shown before he's prepared to travel. Boxing in South Africa, of course, didn't he, on the Africa versus UK show, in a fight that he definitely won.
Yeah, so that'll have been a disappointment for him, but he'll have learned from that, like you say, the experience of fighting abroad as well, and everything that goes with it, the experience, the build up to the fight, and all the little tricks I might go on beforehand. There'll be stuff that'll hold him in good stead.
Yeah, and it's a massive experience that as well. Usually fighters don't experience that till they get to the top level, and the boxing for titles. It's a rare opportunity that he had, and it'll stand him in good stead as he pushes onto title level where he should have been tonight.
Yeah, I think ideally fighters should try and fight abroad a couple of times in the early part of the career. It's just a new experience for him, similar to how I believe English footballers should try and play for foreign clubs. It's just a chance to see things from a different perspective and get a new experience and learn from it.
Picking his shots nicely early on here, Marc Leach. You see he's settled in, he's nice and comfortable, dropped his hands, just trying to prize an opening.
Yeah, as you say, he's been patient. His opponent looks fairly tough as well. He's calling Leach in. Leach puts his hands behind his back as well. A bit of double bravado there.
Yeah, and already looks like a good opponent. Got a little bit of ambition, which is always what you want to see when you match these guys.
Yeah, the opponent's won once, as we said already this year, lost once this year already, so as you say, he's shown a little bit of ambition coming into this against the Salfordian.
Yeah, and Marc's at the stage of his career now where he wouldn't learn anything from just fighting it as one of the standard journeymen that we see that just tucks up and tries to get through the rounds. He's got to think about what's coming back at him. Just trying to prize that opening with feints. Coming towards the end of the first round. Good first round for Marc Leach. Settled in nicely.
Yeah, it's been everything he could have wanted after the disappointment of not fighting for the title tonight and getting an opponent he's never seen before. He's come out and had a nice settled first round.
He picked a body shot nicely there as well. Just like we saw with Seb Eubank switching. Hashtag VIP Boxing Live on Twitter. Across all the usual platforms. What would you be telling Marc in the corner now if you're in there with him?
I'd just say more of the same. Do what you did in that first round. You've got it out of the way. You know what the opponent looks like. You know, it feels being in the round after the round with him. You know, if he's strong, whether he's got a bit of pop on his punches. So just go out there and build on a good first round. I think Nigel was telling him to bring the punches up through the middle as well. He spotted the gap through the middle and Jamie's telling him that not to be leaning back a bit. I think by the sounds of it. But so far so good from Leach.
Yeah, and there's always a danger coming off the back of a pull-out in a fight like that he'd be a bit frustrated and just go head hunting and try and get an early stoppage, but he's settled in nicely behind that jab. He's clearly been told that he's got to be disciplined tonight and learn a few things in there.
Yeah, between them, Morsi, Nige and Kevin have seen everything they could possibly see in the sport of boxing, so they'll have sat him down today and told him to keep his head straight.
And nice work again to the body. He started to pick those body shots towards the end of the first. Carried on in the second here. He's really had it all his own way early on here, Mark. Set the pace that he wanted to box at.
And I think that's what Nigel spotted in the first round, that there's a gap in the middle for Leach to exploit either to the body or to the head, or exploit to the body first and then go for the head. The way his opponent holds his guard, there's a little bit of space behind the elbow that you can whip in hooks into that space, so that looks like what he's trying to do at the moment. Yeah, and he's certainly thrown a lot more shots in the opening minute of this second round than he did in the first. Just trying to prize those openings that you were talking about. And there's that straight shot to the body that you mentioned. He's really picking his body shots nicely now. It's something you usually discourage from fight, dropping the hands and trying to encourage the opponent to come forward. But Marc's reactions are so quick. He seems to do it every time we see him, and he never really gets hit with his hands down. Yeah, and he's confident. He did a little bit of finale shuffle there before trying to deliver a punch. Sometimes with a fighter, it was always a pet hate of mine when fighters held their hands lower and held the left hand low, but some fighters I've spoken to said they feel comfortable that way, and if they try to change the style, they'd feel uncomfortable trying to change it. So sometimes you have to work with what's natural to you. Nice work with that jab as well. You mentioned it at the start of the round. The openings are through the middle. Yeah, and he's exploiting them so far. Like I say, that kind of hands down style, the only time you'd have a real problem with that is when you get a bit older and your reflexes start to lose you. That's when you need to be able to adapt your style to the Father Time, the ravages of Father Time. Talking of age, it's Marc's birthday tomorrow, so double celebration. He gets the job done tonight. Yeah, it's a nice time. It's nice to be fighting the day before your birthday. You can actually go out and celebrate the day itself. The night before your birthday is usually lost in a stupid of alcohol and silly decision making, but hopefully that won't be the case tonight. I'm sure it will be later on. Yeah, probably later on. But his decision making in the ring so far has been perfect. He's done what his trainers have told him to do in terms of targeting that area of the space through the middle and behind the rib, behind the elbow. Yeah, Gigolashvili still coming forward though. He's still showing a bit of ambition, which is playing into the hands of Marc really. He's just got those openings to the body. Good finish to the round, another one in the bank. Another comfortable round for Marc Leach. He hasn't had to get out of first gear so far. And as you say, Gigolashvili is coming forward and giving him something to think about. It might be Marc's birthday tomorrow, but he's not being given a gift by his opponent, so you need to listen to what the corner's telling him. Looks like Nigel's telling him to whip some shots around the side, which is something we mentioned before, and maybe bring the uppercut through, so it'll be interesting if he implements that advice in the next round. Yeah, and as we go through the night, we mentioned we're going to have a couple of boxers joining us on commentary. Danny Wright's going to do the next one. Is gym mate Jack Kilgannon in action. We've got Bilal Raymond, who suffered that defeat last time out, boxing for one of the IBF ranking titles. He's going to join us for Jake James and Ben Fields, and then Jack Cattrall's going to jump on for his gym mate Akeem Fiaz's debut. So plenty of different voices to be heard throughout the night. If you've got any questions for any of them, let us know. Hashtag VIP Boxing Live, or comment on all the streams that we've got across various platforms. And there's that the foot movement we're talking about from Marc as well. Yeah, in this round he's just dangling his leading arm out, just looking to try and worked something, thrown a few feints as well. Leach just trying to draw the lead.
Yeah, that's one thing he hasn't had so far, Mark. He hasn't had that lead to counter shots. He's had to engage every time and be the first one to throw the shots. Mark's certainly a fighter. When we see him step up in levels, you'll see him improve, and you can tell that he's one of those fighters that will raise his game to the level of opponent he's in with.
Yeah, and some fighters need that challenge. They need the fire under them in order to produce their best. Some fighters can just turn it on like a tap, but other fighters do need someone to inspire them. So I think, like you should say, Russ Leach moves on through the levels. We'll see that. We should have been seeing that tonight, but unfortunately that's not the case.
This one's scheduled for 6, of course. Should have been doing a 10-rounder like we mentioned earlier, so he'll certainly be fit to do the distance.
Yeah, he'll be able to breeze through the 6 rounds, I think.
And they'll certainly be calling out for that title shot next for Mark as well. He's got to the point now where he's learned the lessons he's needed to learn on the smaller shows. He's ready to break out.
Yeah, and he's got a nice balanced record. He's had adversity, so he's not... When he first faced this adversity, he's overcome it, and he's by bouncing back from a pro debut loss. He had that draw as well. That should have been a win, and the disappointment of that. So he's had some tough moments in the ring, Mark, and that'll hold him in good stead moving forward.
Yeah, and of course he's seen the success that the gym's been having. We talk about it a lot on these shows, but it really does make a difference, doesn't it, if you're in a gym that's buzzing with world-level fighters in there.
Yeah, as we say, gyms are like pack animals. The boxers push each other on. Even the boxers who are quite solitary and like to be left to their own devices, people like Scott Quigg, they do tend to join in the ethos of the gym when they first join one.
Yeah, and you can see Mark's been learning off those guys as well. He's really showing things in every fight now, improvements.
And you've got a good mixture of styles in that gym as well, so there's lots of different people you can watch. And talking to Rocky Fielding and Martin Murray a couple of times, and they say sometimes they just sit around and watch people like Carl Frampton spar just so they can enjoy the sparring.
Yeah, and of course in-house sparring doesn't get much better than that as well for Mark, of course. Makes a massive difference not having to travel all the time to get you sparring.
Yeah, that's the thing, and not having to pay people to come in to do it as well. Although, looking at Mark's socks, the image on the back of his socks looks like the logo for Google Mail. I wonder if he's subliminally sponsored by the massive search engine, or if he's just got mail. But so far he's delivering a really good performance, so more of the same, I think, for Mark.
Yeah, he's certainly getting the job done in there at the moment. Nice and calm and composed. He's still not got out of first gear, really. We've seen Mark step up the tempo in fights before, but he hasn't had to do that so far. He's had nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and to be fair, as you've just alluded to, he doesn't have to step out of first gear tonight. He's winning this one at a canter so far. If his opponent starts giving him something to think about, we'd see Mark move through the gears, but at the moment he's just doing things nice and steadily.
Yeah, Jamie Moore in the corner calling for the uppercut. They're just trying to let Mark try things now, aren't they? 3 rounds to go. He's winning the fight comfortably and he can start experimenting now.
Yeah, like we said, the uppercut's a tricky punch to pull off, so the more you can practice using it in an environment like this, the better. I think the uppercut is there for him if you can time it right. And it looks like he can throw it from both hands as well, so he might have the element of surprise if he manages to get it through.
Yeah, of course, there's a huge gap, like you spoke about in the second round, for him to deliver that shot. He's just settled into a nice rhythm, hasn't he? Just doing enough to win the round without putting himself in any danger. Lovely left hand from Marc Leach. Forced to smile out Gigolashvili in there, which is always a sign he landed a decent shot.
Yeah, and he picked the shot well. He just kind of leant back a little bit and whipped it in. It was a nicely picked shot, that one. And he's looking to build on that with a couple of 1-2s.
Yeah, he just upped the tempo after landing that big shot. Just ups his work rate a little bit, his punch output.
Yeah, that shot may have given him a little boost. Obviously, he was fighting someone who was a bit wily, not giving too much away, so landed that good, clean punch. Probably his best punch, the most eye-catching one, certainly of the fight so far, has given him a bit of impetus.
He's looked so comfortable behind that jab. Something they've clearly been working on in the build-up to the Asomba fight that hasn't happened, and that would have been a great fight, a great match of styles in there. I'm certain that they'll be calling for that for his next outing, like I said earlier. Wild swings. Gigolashvili certainly likes the showboat Mark as well in there.
Yeah, I've noticed that a couple of times. He just did a little dirt off his shoulder move there. I'm not a big fan of showboating, but he's winning it so handily at the moment. He's probably just doing little things to keep himself mentally alert.
Yeah, you can see he's just trying to draw a lead by doing that, hoping he can frustrate his opponent. Gigolashvili's turn to drop his hands this time, use his head movement.
Yeah, and he just threw a couple of his own shots as well and landed them as well, so it shows you that he could, if Marc Leach isn't careful, there could be a sting to the tail. He has to keep on it.
Yeah, and we talk about the pace suiting Marc Leach, and he's been pretty comfortable in there, but it's the same for his opponent as well. They'll be pretty comfortable with this so far.
Yeah, it's not been a flat-out pace. It's been kind of a middling pace, but Leach is just racking up the shots, and even the ones that don't land clean are still catching the attention of the referee.
Last 30 seconds of this fourth round. Another round in the bank, undoubtedly, for Marc Leach.
Yeah, he takes a couple of body shots there along the ropes, but nothing too dramatic, and pops his way out with the jab.
Yeah, just starting to work on things, as we said before the round started. Just tucking up in the corner, taking a few shots on his gloves and his arms. Another round in the bank, and another round that the Leach camp will be very happy with. He's just slowly getting the job done in there tonight. Nothing to write home about, but it's been a decent performance considering everything. Oldham Leisure Centre filling up around us. Of course, Mark Heffron makes his comeback to the ring after his loss to Liam Williams. He'll be in the ring later on tonight against the always game Serge Ambomo. And that one could ignite into a war later on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, because obviously Mark's last performance wasn't what he wanted it to be, so I think Mark should come out and get a win tonight, but he'll want to do it in style. And I think the big test for Mark will be when he fights for the title next, because it was a really bad defeat for him against in his last fight.
Yeah, and Amboma's one of those fighters that he tries to fiddle his way through the rounds and tuck up and nick a few seconds here or there, but difficult to do against someone like Mark.
Yeah, I think everyone will still be confident in his own power as well, especially at this level. It's just whether he's got confidence in his ability when he steps up to the level that he went to maybe prematurely previously.
2 more to go with this one. And barring anything dramatic, I think we all know which way this is going to go. Mark's got to stay switched on, though. He's had a few stoppages to his name, Gigolashvili.
Yeah, more of the same than we've seen previously from Leach, back behind the jab, doing nothing there that's going to put him at risk from taking a big shot from his opponent.
Just trying to use that head movement to draw a lead. Gigolashvili's corner just calling him forward. They want him to start throwing a few more shots, and he has done that. And Marc dealt with that comfortably, left hook to the body to finish that combination. Just up the tempo a little bit, Marc, in the last few seconds. Every time Gigolashvili just shows a bit of ambition, Marc sets the tempo up for 30 seconds or so and just puts him back in his place.
Yeah, Gigolashvili has come out a couple of times in this round and tried to throw in his own brace of body shots. Taunting Leach now as well, so there's no power behind the punches.
Yeah, it's been disciplined this as well from Marc Leach. Can't forget, Gigolashvili's trying to draw him into something here. Marc's just tucking up nicely and picking his shots. Lovely combination with the right hand landing at the end.
Yeah, he fought his way out of that situation well, Leach.
Nice right hand from Gigolashvili landing there. Marc just calling him on, happy to take the shots. Minute to go in this 5th round. It's certainly been the closest round of the bout so far.
Yeah, I think Leach has won the round with his higher output and better punching, but Gigolashvili has actually came out and given it a bit of a go in this round and shown some ambition.
Yeah, it's just warming into a decent little fight, this one now. Another round to go after this one, of course. Good to see Marc using his defensive work as well, though, in this contest. He's finding it so easy. He's had to show a few things in this round.
Yeah, and he landed a nice right hand there as well. And as you say, he's shown some defensive moves and he spun himself off the ropes.
Yeah, and he just comes out better of every exchange they have at the moment. He's just shown his levels of class. Nice body shot again, and then the right hand over the top.
Yeah, Gigolashvili is, like we say, he's done better in this round than he has done in previous round. Maybe if it had started like this, it'd have given Leach more to think about over the course of the fight.
Yeah, the shots Marc's thrown as well have been impressive so far. He's not wasted any of his work. You know, pretty much every shot's landed on the target at the moment.
Yeah, as you say, he's been quite disciplined. He's obviously swallowed this disappointment of not fighting for the title and just come out and decided that he just needs to be disciplined, do the right thing and get the right result.
Hashtag VIP Boxing Live on Twitter. Get commenting on the Facebook stream as well and across all the usual platforms, and we'll start reading some comments out. And if you've got any questions for the guys that we've got joining us throughout the night, and let us know and we'll put them to them. Referee Darren Sargent just telling both boxers it's the last round.
Like we say, he'll be happy with what he's seen so far. Jamie Moore in the corner from Leach. He'll have learned something about his fighter as well tonight in terms of the fact he's put disappointment behind him. Title fight fell through. He's come out and put in a really good 5 rounds thus far, and I imagine he'll be more of the same for round 6.
Final 3 minutes of this one. And like you said, Marc will be happy with how this has gone. It could have been a frustrating night for him, even more so with the opponent, but you know, he's just been working away behind that jab, not wasting any of his shots and just getting the job done.
Yeah, he came out, did a bit of lateral movement and popped out a nice stiff left jab in the start of this round. Leach as well, that was a nice bit of quality. The hands behind the back thing again, copying what Roy Jones did to Kelly that time. The difference was when Jones did it, he actually stopped his opponent shortly afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening tonight, unless Marc can find some big shots. But you know, it's probably good for him to get the rounds in the bank as well, of course.
Yeah, and Gigolashvili looks like a tough guy from what we've seen of him so far. You can see why he's not been stopped too many times in his career. And you can also see why he's won a couple of fights, good few fights as well in his career so far.
Yeah, Marc's just negated everything that he's shown so far.
Yeah, Leach has done the right thing. Imagine his opponent is the type of guy that if he sensed any weakness or that you're unsure of yourself, that's when you would see more punches coming from him.
Nice work again from Marc. He's just landed a body shot while you were talking then, and then that jab from southpaw stance. He switched between stances nicely as well so far. It's always an asset to have as you step up in levels.
Yeah, switch hitting can be a funny thing. Sometimes you get the sense that some fighters are told to do it and end up confusing themselves. If it's natural to you, then you can do it fluidly and rhythmically. And if it works for you, then great, but if not, it can look a bit stilted. But tonight it's worked for Leach.
Minute to go of the last round. Another comfortable round this for Marc Leach. Gigolashvili just trying to show something in this last round. It's too little too late. Nice onslaught this from Marc Leach. Couple of shots landed. He's loading up with those shots now, Marc. Nice left hook, and then the right hand coming over the top again. You can see he's a little bit frustrated. He's not been able to land as many shots as he'd have liked to.
Yeah, they both had that little trade there coming into the last minute of the round, but Leach again showed his better quality and strength.
Nice body shot again from Marc Leach. The last couple of rounds he started to pick those body shots more regularly.
And as you say, it looks like he's working on things in there, trying to implement what he's been learning in the gym in a live fight situation. And again goes a couple of shots to the head that they don't land, and then switches it to the body because he knew that he'd worked to the gap and the opening was there for him.
We're coming towards the end of this final round, and it's been a pretty accomplished performance this from Marc Leach. Shutout on the referee scorecard, no doubt. And a pretty easy night's work as far as they go. No cuts, no injuries, which is always an important thing. If you get out as soon as possible. It's the thing with the title fights, you never know when they're going to pop up or when they're going to appear.
Yeah, and she said that should be a shutout. I know Phil Edwards likes to give the occasional drawing round, but I think 60-54 would be Sargenson's the referee for this one, so I imagine it is going to be 60-54 across the board.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if we see anything else apart from 60-54. And he's just handed his scorecard over to the MC Michael Bass. He calls both boxers into the middle of the ring and we'll get the official result.
Bit of a delay getting into the centre ring. Sargenson's barking his
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 3-minute rounds of featherweight action, referee Darren Sargentson has adjudged this particular contest 60 points to 54 points for your winner. Hailing from the superb city of Salford, Marc live wire Leach. And a fine boxer from Tbilisi, Georgia, Khvicha Gigolashvili.
I don't think either camp can have any arguments with that at all. VIP ringside, sponsored by Oxyfire. From anywhere to everywhere. Nice little slogan. And hopefully in a couple of minutes' time we'll be able to grab Marc Leach for a quick word. As he leaves the ring, pretty happy with himself, I'm sure. After that, Jack Kilgannon's in with Geraint Goodrich. Danny Wright joining us on commentary for that one. That one's scheduled for 6. At middleweight, Kilgannon's been impressive recently. And what could be a fight of the night after that one, Jake James and Ben Fields in. And then Aqib Fiaz makes his debut before Mark Heffron returns to the ring. Marc Leach is just making his way behind us to join John Evans. And we can grab a few words from him now with him and his trainer, Jamie Moore.
Well, Marc's here with me now. Marc, I'm sure you'd rather have an English title belt over your shoulder there, but it was a nice, solid win. Showed some good boxing and you kept your focus tonight.
Yeah, well, like I said, was waiting for this English title fight to happen. Done all the hard training, got all the tactics right, and then pulls out and get a late replacement. But I'm thankful I'm still out fighting, so on to the next one now, more rounds in the bank.
When did you find out? You know, it's quite late in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, a couple of days before the fight, you know, he said he withdrew from the fight, so it was all like game and changing the weight and all mind games really. But like I say, I've come out on top tonight and got a round in the bank that I needed to.
It's all part of boxing at this level, isn't it? And so we believe the English title fight is going to be rescheduled, or there might be something even bigger in the pipeline for you in the coming months.
I think that was like a walk in the park, you know, I was going through the rounds, making sure, practicing really like I was doing sparring, tucking up and inside, wasn't getting out of breath. Yeah, just working on the tactics for the next fight and the fight after. You know, hopefully I can get the English title fight sooner rather than later and start pushing up there. And like I say, thanks to all my sponsors for helping me out along the way, and I couldn't do it without you and my supporters.
Perfect. Well, thanks a lot, Marc. Well done. Cheers. Title next.
Cheers.